What is going on, everybody? It is Craig, and we're back with number 51 in the 2024 movie review series. As you can see from the thumbnail, this is 1987's Insect, also known as Blue Monkey. I'm always curious as to where the different titles come from. I mean, I know the young boy mentioned Blue Monkey at one point. Maybe we'll see the Blue Monkey, but anyway, this is a good old-fashioned 80s insect movie, as you might get. That's called Insect as one of the titles. You know, and listen, there's a lot of fun ones. You know, Mosquitoes comes to mind. Gunnar Hansen from the 80s. You know, Ticks. Well, I'm not 100% sure if that's late 80s or early 90s. So, you know, but this is definitely what I wanted. I saw Sinjanor, which was, 90. It was a really good movie, so I want to stay sort of in the old school frame of stuff I haven't seen. And I quite frankly, I've never seen this movie. So I figured I'd give it a try. And as far as what I thought, well, it hits on all of the tropes from creature movies. Which, as far as, people doing things they shouldn't do. There's also, it does use a trope that you see a lot in slasher films in the hospital when, people, nurses and doctors get together and they get killed. We had some of that. The reality is, in this case, the movie opens up almost like an episode of Murder, She Wrote. And I, you know what, I'm a horror fan extraordinaire, and I have no regret in saying I loved Murder, She Wrote. I love Matlock. I love those old school shows, and it really does open up like an episode of Murder, She Wrote. You had an old woman, an old man, old woman flirting as he was fixing a window for her, and he got a thorn bite from a flower, which was an insect, which sort of spread everything. Little weird thing about Murder, She Wrote, the reason there was so many older actors or actresses in it is Angela Lansbury actually wanted to make sure she had work for people that otherwise weren't getting employed, because you need so many hours for your union coverage and stuff like that. So that was awesome. But anyway, neither here nor there. Neither here nor there right now. As far as the movie goes, it's almost entirely contained inside of a old mental asylum, which is now turned into a hospital / testing laboratory. And again, it starts very early. That guy who got bit, very quickly some creature grows in and comes out, almost like a caterpillar, and then keeps expanding. And unfortunately, freaking kids didn't listen to shit, and they dumped some chemical growth hormone onto the thing that looked cool, and they essentially made this killing machine, and essentially responsible for all the deaths as far as I'm concerned. But you had the Bishop, was the guy's name, was the cop who was there because his partner was injured, and he was there to help him. So he just happened to be self-contained inside the asylum, and he was there to sort of help people and save people. I kid you not, folks, this cat didn't say a word until I started talking. I started talking, he's like, "Hey, what's up? What's going on? Let me come on in." But once the creature starts running around, they bring in an entomologist, who I can't believe didn't die. I really thought he was dead, because he was doing all the things you're not supposed to do. Oh, let me get closer. It's such a valuable specimen. How he didn't die, I don't know. There were a lot of kills. For the most part, the practical effects were fine, although the movie worked better when it was like Alien, and as you didn't see the creature as much. Once you start seeing it, especially at one point where you saw it looked really, really, really bad. But it was only in the one area it looked bad. I'm still not sure exactly what type of creature it is. It looks like a hybrid of an ant, praying mantis type thing. At the end, when they're trying to figure out what to do, how to kill it, there's some cute, crazy old women in who are getting drunk, and almost like in Grabbers. If you did the alcohol, help save you from the disease. So they accidentally discovered that, and then they sort out having to kill the creature. And at the end, when they are trying to kill it, it was almost like in a carnival, where you're trying to squirt the water in the balloon or the clown's mouth, and then all of a sudden, then it can grow. It wasn't very impressive there. The effects there were kind of, very 80s, which is what you expect. I tell you what, though, for an 80s movie, the effects overall were pretty damn good. They did do a good job of building up a lot of the characters, albeit there really wasn't any you particularly cared for. I did love seeing somebody in it, though, who, like I didn't realize was in it at the time. But John Vernon is in this movie. And John Vernon, what is it? Dirty Harry, The Outlaw Josie Wales, National Lampoons. He's the, the Dean. And also, probably most noteworthy for me, Kill Clown. He's the cop who eventually becomes a ventriloquist dummy. So that was cool seeing him. I didn't really recognize anyone else from any big... Oh, that's not true. You did randomly have the guy from Happy Gilmore who just passed away, who got calling him a jackass. He was in this, and his wife was having a kid as all this chaos was going around. And they survived, too. I think that's probably one of my bigger issues with this movie. Like, the majority... Like, it's a horror movie, and they're establishing these characters, and to some extent you should care about what happens to the characters. But none of the characters that they developed, really, had anything bad happen to them. Like, all the people who got killed were sort of side people. Like I said, the main two nurses, the doctor, not the doctor, the cop himself. None of the kids. Considering the kids are responsible for it, one of them should have got picked off. And I know you hear me say that like it's awful, but to me that's a big deal in a horror movie. When a horror movie is willing to kill a kid, and you see that, as long as it's not just done, you don't need to see it on screen, but, like sort of like in The Blob, where the one friend is killed, and the main kid escapes. But it's like you don't see that. Like you kind of should have, considering they're the ones who caused everything. As far as my rating for this, I know I rambled on a little bit more. You're like, so what else is new, Craig? I really am happy that we're at 51. Hopefully 52 will be Blood and Honey. I keep waiting for that. It was supposed to be on demand the other day, so when that pops up, I will definitely be seeing Maxine, but that'll jump into July, so we'll see. But as far as 51 we have in the books, and this is getting a 4 or 5 out of 10. I would have given it a 5. I would have given it my magic 5 out of 10, which meant I didn't regret watching it if, again, a little more of the main characters got killed off, and or if they didn't pull the most cliche ending like that you ever see in these movies, which is after it's over, you realize, oh no, there's still a baby bug left, and this is all going to happen again. But, so 4 or 5 out of 10. Folks, thanks for checking out these videos. Again, now it's all downhill. Now we have less to do than we've had it done, now that we're at 51. So, I don't know, as always, give me some suggestions in the comments. I am actually following up on a couple of suggestions I received recently, so hopefully they'll be inside the 50s as long as I get a hold of them. Way too long in this one. I'll make the next one short, I promise. Till we meet again, peace.